Hey, hey everybody, Motopoet 59 here. I'm Hey everybody, Motopoet 59 here. Hey, this channel of mine doesn't get a whole lot of views. I don't have a whole lot of subscribers, but when I started this channel, that was not my aim. All I wanted to do is be able to vent and not worry about misspelling words or using improper punctuation or getting into hour-long debates with people, or getting into arguments with people who aren't making any sense, which includes most liberals and all progressives. But over the last few days, I have realized that it is working. I have started having liberals or progressives. They haven't identified themselves as one or the other, but sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. Sometimes they don't know the difference. Most of the time they don't know the difference. But just a couple of people have started arguing with me. And I had one guy call me an idiot, and other guys, the point of this video is actually that I did my video about how Republicans get things done and Democrats just talk about getting things done. And I don't remember exactly how I phrased it in there, but that Obama didn't get anything done. And the guy came back with one, I guess it's a guy, came back with one word and said Obamacare. If you believe, I don't care if you're a conservative, progressive, a liberal, an atheist, an agnostic, I don't care what you are, but if you believe that Obamacare was good legislation, you're a communist, you're a socialist. But if you believe that Obamacare was good legislation, you really are an idiot. I mean, you just don't understand that this person was throwing, and I've heard so many different liberals and progressives throw so many different numbers out there about Obamacare, about how great it was and how many people did this. And I think the number this person used was 20 million people. It gave 20 million people insurance that didn't have it before. No, it did not. It gave whatever number you want to throw out there. It gave that many people access to insurance. Most of those people did not use it. Most of the people who didn't qualify, let me move back a minute. Most of the people who did qualify for free Obamacare programs already had free programs under Medicare or Medi-Cal or programs like that. But most everybody else had to pay for it. Everything Barack Obama promised about Obamacare was a lie. And I'm not saying that just because I didn't like Obama. Go back and watch the speeches he gave about what we could and couldn't do and what it would and wouldn't do. Do any of that. You want to like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. No, you couldn't. You're going to save whatever percentage he said, or thousands of bullshit. It was more expensive. It drove the price of private healthcare insurance up. I was fortunate to have a job that provided my insurance, but their rates went up when Obamacare was enacted, and they raised we had to pay a share. We had to pay so much a month for our health care. Certainly wasn't enough. It was a couple $100s a month, but once Obamacare was enacted, that went up, and it went up every year. About every 2 years it went up again, where it had stayed level prior to that. Obamacare was a mess. A lot of doctors didn't accept patients with the Obamacare. The packages that Obamacare offered were very expensive, prohibitively expensive. You could go get that kind of coverage, better coverage in many cases, from private insurance, especially if you had a family. Obamacare was a disaster. It was a total disaster. The mandate, are you kidding me? Now that John Roberts has made a few other calls on the Supreme Court, I'm starting to realize that he's really not much a conservative. I think he's a RINO, kind of a John McCain type of guy. sides with the liberals a lot, and for him to write the opinion that said that Obamacare was not unconstitutional I'm still astounded by it. At first, until over the last couple of years, like I said, he's made more decisions that are very left-leaning. I thought that maybe he had been threatened, was doing it under duress, because it's not constitutional. Using the government enacts legislation and uses an arm of the government to enforce that legislation, namely the IRS, to punish you. These were punitive measures. You were punished. You're still punished in California and a lot of other states. When Trump kicked the mandate out, some states kept it, and they're doing it till after the election because they want you to be mad at Trump. They want to try to blame that on him, but it's actually their fault. It's a move they're making. But using a government agency to enforce a government program and for citizens to be forced to, the only reason they got away with it is because you didn't have to use Obamacare. Believe me, that is what they wanted. They wanted the whole single payer thing, and they knew they couldn't get it. This is as close they were going to get, and they made backdoor deals with the private insurance companies to do this. So screw the private insurance companies too, but what are you going to do? But Obamacare was a disaster. It was unconstitutional, blatantly unconstitutional. And it doesn't make me angry that the Supreme Court sided with the Obama administration. It frightens me. What's next? What are we going to do? Because eventually another Democrat's going to get elected, and you've already got the Democrats in the House that are shoving these ungodly, expensive, and pointless, needless pieces of pork in legislation, like in the not the stimulus, but in the stimulus packages during the COVID. And now the COVID's over, and we have another $5 trillion in debt, all because of the Democrats. And eventually we're going to get another Democrat in the White House, and there's absolutely no telling what kind of legislation that they're going to try to shove down our throats and up our asses. Socialist, communist, socialist agendas. And this isn't going to change. There's not all of a sudden going to come some true old-fashioned American liberal crawling out of the woodwork to try to get us to come across the aisle and join hands again. That's not going to happen in my lifetime. It's too far gone. And that's another one of the things that one of these people I was arguing with said, that they make it sound like Donald Trump has caused all this division. No, you guys started causing this division in 2000 with your whole George W. Bush stole the election whining, and you have been whining, crying, and pissing and moaning ever since. You have filed lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit every time a bill gets passed that you don't like, or a law gets enacted, or whatever. Even, you are so fond of saying, hey, the people have spoken. What about gay marriage? I don't give a shit about gay marriage. If you guys want to get married, get married. You got just as much right to be miserable as anybody else. You got just as much right to give half your shit away if things don't work out. But the people did speak out where that was concerned. I don't remember now, it's been too long ago, but most of the states where that came up for a vote voted against it. Even California and New York, two of the most liberal states in the union, voted against gay marriage, and it immediately was overturned. I didn't get mad about that. It was like I was pissed off because the liberals always say, oh, the system doesn't work, it's all for the rich white people. Until something like that happens, then they're okay with it not working. You guys are hypocrites. You're disgusting hypocrites. But that's when all this started, in 2000, and it just got worse and worse and worse. Therefore, just a few months after the 9/11 attacks in 2001, America came together. But once we got serious about going after these people who were threatening us, and the rest of the world, as usual, you turned into the cowards that you are, and the pacifiers and the appeasers, and let's hand these people a olive branch so they can sharpen it and stick us in the eye with it. Come on, you guys are a bunch of pussies. And the division started again, and it was like that through the entire George W. Bush administration, and he was a pretty moderate guy. And then through Obama, set race relations back 50 years, screwed the economy up, added 10 or 12, 13, I don't even know now, more $1 trillion in debt with nothing to show for it. Absolutely nothing to show for it. If you're a liberal or a conservative on here, you're an Obama supporter, I defy you in the comments below to tell me one thing that Obama did that did any good, because Obamacare wasn't it. You can go make up numbers and listen to CNN, but the numbers in the government websites are there for everybody to see. There's no secrets. It's easy to find. Quit listening to people on Facebook and CNN. And I don't listen to Fox. Screw Fox. They're just a bunch of idiots just like everybody else when it comes to the news. I enjoy listening to their political commentary, but where the news is concerned, they're just as screwy as everybody else. Go do some research. Get off your lazy liberal asses and go do some research and get some real numbers. And stop throwing these made-up numbers at me, because I don't care. I'm not interested. Till you can show me some proof or tell me how anything that George W. Bush or Donald Trump has done, any policies or legislation that they've enacted, has affected you personally. And I don't mean pissed you off, has affected you personally, has changed your life. It's like the Patriot Act. Oh my God, they're going to do, you know what? If you weren't a criminal, you didn't have anything to worry about. If you're selling dope and you got caught on some wiretap or something doing it, tough shit. Shouldn't be selling dope. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. But anyway, back to the original point, and we'll close this out. I've been listening to liberals and progressives and the socialists talk about how great a deal Obamacare was since it was enacted, and it wasn't. I don't hate Barack Obama because it was passed. I am disappointed with the Supreme Court because it passed. I don't even know that it was his baby. I don't actually think he was actually bright enough to come up with all that. Most presidents aren't. Most presidents aren't geniuses. Donald Trump's a great businessman, but I don't think he's a genius. George W. Bush certainly wasn't a genius, but he was a pretty good president. And I think Donald Trump's been a good president. I think Obama was a horrible president. I think Bill Clinton was actually a good president. He's a Democrat. I disagreed with most of the stuff he had to say, but he signed some good stuff into law. He signed some bad stuff into law, but so did Ronald Reagan, and he's my hero. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up, and let me know what you think. Sorry for rambling. I get going. I don't use a script. I don't use a prompter. I shoot from the hip, and let me know what you think. Maybe I'm all wet. Like, share, and subscribe. Click on the bell if you want to be notified of future content, and always feel free to tell me I'm full of shit. See you later.